I once fell in love with a magic 8-ball. It was just your typical girl meets magic 8-ball story. Some girlfriends and I were in Broad Ripple. This is back before people met online. And the server came over with my drink and said, "This is from the gentleman in black and white." And so I turned and casually looked over, and there he was. And he was short, dark, and handsome. He was so symmetrical, which has always been a thing for me, symmetry. And so, I tried to play it cool. I walked over and I said, "Have we met?" And I knew we hadn't. I would have remembered his face. But he said something so smooth. He said, "As I see it, yes." Well, I don't know if you believe in love at first sight, but I knew exactly what he meant. It was like we had known one another our whole lives and we're just now meeting. And from then on, we were inseparable. I was on cloud 9 or 8, as the case may be. We talked all the time for hours, or I would talk, he would listen. He was a great listener. And when I reflect back, I realized he never actually said the words, "I love you," but there was one night when I asked him and he said, "Yes." She shouted it, and I believed him. As time passed, though, I began to worry that he was losing interest with me. I thought he was the one. But he was spending longer and longer hours at the office, and I would call to see if I could see him. And in the beginning, he was always, without a doubt, you may rely on it. And then as time passed, it was more like, ask again later, or don't count on it. And then meanwhile, my friends were all asking me if he was ever going to propose. And that started to really eat at me. And so one night, I worked up the nerve, and I asked him where our relationship was heading. And he said, "Cannot predict now." And I just wanted to shake him when he said that. I was so angry, and that was really the beginning of the end, I would say. I mean, he started to really get on my nerves. I realized the longer he went without popping the question, it became clearer he never popped any question. I was always the one initiating the conversation, and he was always repeating himself. There was one night, he was going on about his sources. He was saying, "My sources say no." And I was like, your sources? Who are your sources? What are you even talking about? I started crying, and I said, "Do you even love me anymore?" And he just sort of shrugged, and he had the nerve to say, "Concentrate and ask again." I did not ask again. I ended it that night. And he just kind of rolled out of my life without a word. We're still friends on Facebook. Every once in a while he'll post something, usually pretty vague and short, outlook good or not good. And he still looks the same. He's still very symmetrical, but he's still single. And as for me, I've moved on. I married a man, a real man, and we have 2 beautiful children. And our relationship, it's not perfect, but it's real too. And I would say the one thing I've learned from it all is that real love is a decision we have to make every day. There's nothing magic about it.